Hello, Dumaguete.
Hello, Negros Oriental.
Hello, Sillimanians around the world.
This is Joshua Soldivillo.
And this is Ronelyn Vailoces-No.
You're watching
Silliman. Good evening, everyone. This is a magazine program that talks about different aspects of Silliman University, a program initiated to discuss matters concerning the campus by the sea. Welcome, everyone, to Silliman. Hello, maayong gabi and welcome and thank you for making Silliman your Monday night habit. And let's talk about mental health. And to talk about mental health and more, let us all welcome our guests for tonight. And to start with, let me first introduce to you the guidance counselor for the College of Law, Senior High School Department, and IMS, Institute of Environmental and Marine Sciences. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Miss Rochelle Marie Remolio. Good evening.
Good evening.
And we also have here tonight the career advocate for early childhood and elementary school, and she is also a faculty member of the Senior High School Department, Miss Christine Cataylo.
Good evening.
Hello, Ma'am Teen. Hello, Ma'am Shell, and welcome to Silliman.
Thank you.
Let's keep the ball rolling, ma'am, and let's talk about mental health. This year's theme for Mental Health Awareness Month is Mental Health as a Universal Human Right. Let's talk about it. Why is it a right?
First and foremost, we have laws that protects every human right, and there should be an emphasis not only on the physical health but also the mental health as well. So everybody should have access to mental health services, like we have access to water, food security. So I think that's one of the things that should be emphasized, that that being a human right, it should be given more importance at this point in time.
Yeah, because I think we also have this stigma, no? That when we talk about mental health, parang kabaliwan lang ang iniisip ng iba, and that's what we need also to, raise awareness that it's not just being crazy or whatnot. So what are the different mental health issues that we are facing now, especially the students after the midterms week? Or is it also right to say that these exams can also cause, mental health problems to our students, or we should not overstate it that way?
I think when we talk about mental health, diba, there's positive mental health and there's also negative. So that's how we address every problem that we encounter. So any inconvenience could be a trigger, diba, or it could cause feelings of anxiety, anxious feelings, and sometimes we misconstrue it as, things that gubuto ni mo utok ba? But basically, it's really something that we should be more aware of. Na how do we deal with difficulties? How do we manage our time? How do we take care of our mental headspace? Like, for example, when we deal with problems, when we deal with grief, when we deal with all these things, common problems among students, there's no routine, no time management is poor. Study habits also are not pretty much practiced or imbibed. They get themselves into so many things. They get themselves involved with so many things. Walay proper timing ba? And overall, it's really more like overthinking is one of the things that I see most students go through, diba, Tin? Na they think about things that are not happening yet. So they worry about things that shouldn't even be something that they should be facing right now.
Yeah, and it's not just the students. When you mentioned overthinking, it's like a slap on my face also, because I do it also a lot of the time, Ma'am Shell. But how do we manage? How do we how do we refrain ourselves from overthinking, Ma'am Shell, coming from a guidance counselor's perspective?
Me, on my part, self-care is very important, no? And also, there are other things that you could work on in terms of dealing with overthinking, like positive self-talk, mindfulness, mga ganun. Every now and then, you have to take a break. And then, actually, it depends on the person and how you see things. It takes a lot of undoing. Like, for example, if you're an overthinker, you have to reframe your mind from thinking about all the negative thoughts. So, that's where positive, like, reframing should come in. Okay, we have the tendency to look at the worst case scenario all the time. So, murag, pag gani nahitabo, imo namang giunhan, di ba? So,
Yes.
it's a bad habit that can be unlearned. I think, as we grow older, we realize that there are things that we cannot control. We can only control our response to a situation, but we cannot control, like, other people, how they deal with you. So, before you react, you have to take a breather, take time to think. So, kanailang gingon ba nga, should you be thinking fast or should you be thinking slow? So, I think at this point in time, we should start thinking slow, like shouldn't react less siguro. Give it time before you react. Okay, it poses a lot of problems when we are too reactive.
Yes.
Diba? Type dayon, mga keyboard warriors,
Especially
mga
on the internet nowadays.
Yeah, oo.
No, and that makes sense, no? When we talk too much about the past and too much about, the future, it seems that we forgot how to live now. No? And let's talk about the services. And I know that the guidance and testing department is there to listen to the problems perhaps of the students, not just the students, but the faculty and staff also. Let's talk about the services of the guidance and testing department. Ma'am Tin, what's the role as a career advocate? What's your role?
So we actually work hand in hand with our guidance counselors. So we help them establish the programs that we have for the students, most especially because they have different struggles. Lain-lain gyud siya every department, every college. So that's why the programs that we also have to offer should be something aligned and suitable for their needs. So that's why we do needs assessment as well because we need to find out unsa may need aning certain students. Kay varying gid siya depending on the courses, depending on the level that they are in. So that's what we do as career advocates. So we help create programs with our guidance counselors so that we will be able to implement that to help them, especially very much sa ilang mental health and not just on their mental health but basically on their overall holistic approach sa ilang health ba.
Let's talk about these programs, Ma'am Tin. Can we be more specific of what are the programs that we have?
Yeah, right now we have recently launched our mental health caravan. So this is a caravan basically, and this is not just a one-time event. So there will be more in the coming months that students could actually look forward to, and we can also invite our faculty members to join and even our staff. So we have already started it with our first year students, all college students, and we did our first mental health caravan on building resilience. So I think that's very important, especially nowadays na we really need to help them learn from the experience basically of the guidance counselors because they were the ones who got interviewed. It was like a talk show, and then they were able to share what their experiences were with the people they have dealt with in the past, and even they themselves, they share their own experiences on how they could actually inspire those students to they themselves develop resilience.
Now, you talked about resilience, and I really wanted to know how we can build resilience. No, Ma'am Shell, from a psychologist's perspective, how do we really build resilience within ourselves?
There's a lot of equipping that should be done. So a lot of self-awareness, and then seeking professional help is also one. No, if you're going through something, you have to really ask for help. Other than that, mindfulness na mga activities, positive reframing, I mentioned it earlier. There are other ways that we can build resilience, but other people can resort to like their spirituality. If they can help them, you have to surround yourself with a strong support system. So I think, family, church, our school environment should provide an environment that supports our learners. So that's one of the things that we can do. Like, for example, we have to build our relationships with our students so that they have that confidence to really go to you. Like, you build that connection. So the students don't feel intimidated when they have concerns. So, for example, if you're in a class, you're teaching, and you see that someone is struggling, at least they don't need to directly go to a guidance counselor, but as a student-teacher na relationship, kung strong siya, pwede rin sila they can go to you for their concerns, and it's not difficult for them to make their teachers know that they're also struggling with so many things, because sometimes there are a lot of things that gets lost in translation. So building resilience, different aspects should be built up also. Mental, emotional, physical, all those things, it encompasses one's resiliency. So kinanglan na siya. And I think more than resiliency, we also have to teach our students and even our colleagues, to be more transformative. Kaya, really, ang resiliency can be romanticized, resilient ra kayo, dali ra kayo makabounce back. But but I'm more concerned about people bouncing back, but bouncing back better than their previous selves ba. So we learn more from what we experience by being better versions of ourselves. So I think that's more than enough to really make sure that we have healthy individuals in this society.
Ma'am Shell, listening from your answers, it gave me an idea on that mental health is a universal human right, because it's not just an effort that must be done within yourself, but it also encompasses the society as a whole. Your role as a teacher, you have an impact to the student, and also the guidance counselors, and even to the peers and friends that you have. Now, let's talk more about the mental health caravan, because I do believe that it's not just building resilience. Your topic is not just about it. You have a lot of topics. Let's talk about that when #Silliman returns.
Silliman University, a place where every corner tells a story of dedication, growth, and excellence. But beyond our classrooms, our school has fostered a revolution against waste. Our story is a passionate call for environmental responsibility, directly tackling waste challenges often faced by big institutions. And this all began with a move in the right direction, the bold step to reinforce policies and firmly ban plastics in campus. This is the Silliman University Waste Management Success Story.
Here at Silliman University, we take a role as stewards of God's creation seriously. Thus, it was imperative for us to develop environment principles, policies, and guidelines.
Silliman University has published, after approval of the Board of Trustees, its guidelines, principles, and policies on environmental sustainability. And zero waste plastic, or a plastic ban, is part of that.
Taking care of the environment is not an easy task. It requires passion, commitment, resilience, and initiative. Change does not happen overnight, so we can only do so much. With Silliman University, students are expected to go beyond what's expected. And so, for every event that they organize, they are required to submit protocols and zero waste management plan before their events are given approval.
At Silliman University, our education transcends textbooks.
At Silliman, this isn't just a bag, it's a stance against disposable culture.
We're taught to be stewards of the earth. Every reusable bottle, every cloth bag, and every sustainable choice we make stems from a profound lesson that our actions, however small, shape our future.
So Silliman University as an educational institution is in a very unique position to be able to teach the students from early childhood all the way up to college these environmental principles to help them rethink their lifestyles and their consumption patterns to choose products that are kinder to the environment.
Silliman University operates a materials recovery facility wherein the Buildings and Grounds Department segregates the waste materials into 3 categories: recyclables, biodegradables, and residuals. The recyclable materials are processed and retained in the facility. Meanwhile, the residuals are collected by the Environmental and Natural Resources Office of Dumaguete and are deposited to the Bayawan City landfill.
Silliman University is living proof that our commitment is not only to education but also to protecting our planet and to our community. These principles, policies, and guidelines that our university has outlined, they are not only a set of rules and policies, they are a promise to our youth and to our planet. A promise that we should take care of our natural resources, our flora and our fauna here in our university as well. With this, we are encouraging the youth to take action and inflict positive change with regards to the different environmental pressing issues in our society today.
Our school is not only committing to a greener tomorrow, but also building a culture where environment is a priority. Through simple and collective actions, we strive for a greener, cleaner future for all, and most importantly, a hopeful today.
These are Silliman's ways of not only protecting our world, but also making it a better place. Here's to a responsible environmental behavior.
And now we're back. Thank you very much for staying with us here in #Silliman. Before we took a break, I asked a question about what are the different topics that we have for the mental health caravan, except from building resilience, which is really important nowadays, especially for our students, and not just for students, but adults, no? Especially those who have existential crises or whatnot. So let's talk more about the different issues or topics that we had. Ma'am Tin, would you like to continue?
Okay, so we will be having other topics other than building resilience, such as, so we will be having the dangers of self-diagnosis, and then we also have supporting peers with mental health, and also adjusting to college life. So I think these are very important topics that we really have to deal with, we really have to tackle with. Na these are things that we see that need yun siya sa mga students, no? That they have, even for our faculty and staff also, most likely, they also need to have all these things na, because anywhere right now, there are a lot who are experiencing mental health challenges for as common as stress, anxiety. So how can we help them? Because not all the time as professionals are there also. So if ever the most kanang, there are people also nga ilahang trust is more built on the people they are always with. So how can we actually help them also for them to be able to support each other?
Yes. The dangers, let's talk about the dangers of self-diagnosis because I often hear my students when they complain, maka-depress ka ayo ang kuan midterms karon, and I do believe that depression is not a joke. So Ma'am Chel, how do we address that? being politically correct is also helpful for us to understand more in depth about mental health and what are the dangers of self-diagnosis.
First and foremost, like for example, when we talk about depression, because depression is a clinical condition. So we can't just say if you're extremely sad and you're depressed. It's not. It doesn't follow. So we have to make our students understand that there are terms that we should be using. Like when you express your emotions, so if you're sad and you say you're sad, you're exhausted, you're tired, you're frustrated, you don't just say you're depressed, because we're like, diminish na to ang kwan ba? Those people who are going through or struggling with depression. So a lot of the students now, they go to Google, they go to YouTube or whatever, they can access that online, and then they sometimes self-diagnose. Sometimes we do that, diba? We look it up or katong mga symptoms. Murag ingunani ko gamay. I may have a little bit of this. Pero the thing is, if you're unsure, and sometimes don't go ahead of yourself, ask someone for help, someone who's a professional. So go see your guidance counselors, or if you know of a clinical psychologist, then maybe set up an appointment. Because sometimes we do things, diba? It's like taking medicine ba? If we take meds that are not prescribed for us, then it might have side effects. So the same thing with self-diagnosis. We do things thinking that we are this, and then dili di ay. So and also we're giving a mura gatong kuag trabaho ni mga kinahanglan nga trabaho, di ba? So kailangan siya nga kanang we put everything in proper perspective. Wala man kay may problema if you think maybe ADHD dagay ko gamay anak kay you will be more aware. Pero awareness man good should come kanang yung proper knowledge ba nga information that you need. Kay in case lang kinanglan diglaing intervention nagmugna ra kag imuhang solution and you didn't seek somebody's expertise, diba? So I think we have to normalize that. So that's why we encourage our students to if they need to talk to someone, that they shouldn't hesitate to go to their guidance counselors or to someone they're comfortable with, whether it's a pastor or their priest, kana-ana bitaw. Okay, sometimes it helps man, diba? You talk to someone that you're comfortable with. So kana siya, and then if there's a need to refer, i-refer sila og say clinical psych or psychiatrist if kinanglan gyud. Kay that's what we do now, no? We have limitations to how we do things. Like for example, as guidance counselors, there are things that we cannot handle. Like there are a lot of clinical cases na sometimes if it's too much for us, we have to seek the help also of someone who knows better. So, kana mga psychiatrists, we need to consult with them or at least i-refer ba. Kay basin kita mo'y makaingon, wala ta nakatabang. So, that's what we usually do. It's collaborative actually. It's really not like kaniragay sila ragay kabalo. We also have to work with other professionals also.
Yeah, I also get that, Ma'am Shal, because when we self-diagnose, gani, it robs us also our peace of mind. So let's go back to overthinking and overthinking. Imbis gamay atong problema, mas makatako noon. No, so it's really good to know that the guidance counselor are there to help. No, and Ma'am Tin, the third topic that you mentioned is talking to supporting peers
with mental health.
So what is it all about?
Yeah, so basically it will help those peers who have mental health challenges on how they address it, how they not really address it, but how they actually help them, being with them, what do they do, what can they do. Kay sometimes manggod, diba, if naay problem ang usa ka student, for example, usually dili gyud na siya moderate sa iyang teacher or sa iyang guidance counselor. Usually madto gyud na siya sa iyang friends. That's why most of the problems that they have, they tell it to their friends. So it's most of the time it's really the friends who knows. So sometimes gani diba ati siya nga we call the friend also pag interviewon because they know a lot about the situation. So for them also, so that they will also be aware on how they will be able to manage their friend nga. Dili ila ra pong i-keep, because sometimes good when they keep it to themselves, what happens is it will result ba to something negative na noon later on, nga gitago-tago or dain nila, and then I kept it a secret for my friend, and this is what happened. So that we don't want that to kanang escalate to that point.
Yeah.
So at least nga they are also aware themselves ba na I'm helping my friend if I do this, if I do the right thing. Nga not just kanang keeping it a secret because my friend told me it's a secret, and kuan na day life threatening na di ay ang nahitabo. So we don't kuan. And also there are a lot of kanang peers who worries ba good about their peers experiencing these mental health challenges. So at least nga kanang they are even in practical ways ba, they will be able to know how they can handle it themselves also.
Yes. So basically, we are training also our students to on how to react and how to give pieces of advice to their peers, Ma'am Tin. Oh, but my question also, Ma'am Tin and Ma'am Shell, is that how do we protect ourselves, especially we are not really trained to diagnose, or we are not really trained to unpack the different problems that our friend has. So how do we protect ourselves from not feeling the same way, or not also experience the same sadness that they have? So how do we protect ourselves also from that? Because it will have an effect on us also, Ma'am Shell.
But you call that the ragnay contagion, di ba? Magtakod-takod ba? So it's important na you have to also acknowledge your limits.
Yeah.
I can't do this all, di ba? I can't solve the problem for you. So for friends and katong support system, it's very essential that you have to be there para for them to listen, diba? For them to have someone listen to them. So here in the campus, we just also finished recruiting peer facilitators or peer advocates, SUPAP, diba? We call it that. They just kaya mag-train me og mga peer facilitators who would be, murag sila pseudo counselors ba? Like these are students who volunteer their time to train as pseudo counselors. So if people will know that they're around, they can go to them and then refer them to the counselors para na bridge in a way. And then going back to your question about how do we protect ourselves, no? So kato, apart from acknowledging your limitations, you have to also know that this is the extent that I can help you with. So referral is very important. And even with us, importante gani nang we do self-care.
Yes.
Oo. So you know when to step back na murag di na yun ako ni ma-handle or yung nana. Especially if you're also dealing with the same problem. So the tendency manggod ka na lagi magtakod-takod ba. And instead of helping, you're all drowning yourselves in the problem. So walay solution, kay walay adult in the room. So importante manggod nang you have someone that you can go to ask for another perspective. Kay lahi manggod na if you just talk among yourselves, especially students, no? Murag wala na ilaing kuan. They don't see this, di ba? They see the same thing as it is. Pero if there's an adult who will pitch in lain-lain of perspective, they can actually help them murag turn things around in a way so they get guidance.
Yeah, we can only take as much. So as much as possible, we can also reach our hands to different people that we trust, no? And Ma'am Tin, let's also talk about the last topic for this mental health caravan, which is coping,
helping students adjust.
Students in the college life, or something like that.
Yeah. So I think that's also one of the things na we need to really have, especially our students are coming from different places.
Yes.
And let's say it's been a while nga, we had the pandemic also, but the thing is, a lot of them have experienced nga they stayed at home during for the last 2 years, I guess, na kanang ang ilang school is at home. So that's something also nga very new to them when they came back. Now we went back full face to face. So I think a lot of them had a hard time adjusting how they deal with all the schoolworks, how they deal with all the pressure that they experience, especially it's different, good. It's really different kanang face-to-face ta and online ta. And that's something they need, other than their academics, they also need to adjust to the place that they are in. Because we have, as what I've mentioned, we have students who are coming from different places. And each of these people, or each of these students, they have different backgrounds as well in the family. So culturally speaking, it's also different. So that's also a major adjustment. So how they will be able to handle that? But I think that will be helpful for them later on as they transition. And eventually, adjustment will happen man gyud. Pero it's different when there is kanang murag na ay aid gani or na help for them to be able to better understand how to cope up with the things that they are facing, especially as a new college student.
You know, listening from all this conversation, I do believe that these kinds of activities, initiatives are really timely and relevant, not just to the students, but the faculty and staff also, and the rest of the Silliman community. You know, Ma'am Tin, before we bid farewell to our viewers, let me ask this question. No, if you, the guidance counselors, the career advocates, or the Ates and Kuyas in our guidance and testing division, takes care of the whole Silliman community, who takes care of you? Ma'am Shal?
I mean, we take care of each other in the department. Actually, we are our own support system. So, we eat with, we eat out.
Yeah.
Mga pe, mga and we do our own separate, like we all have our own individual way of dealing with our stresses, no? Like, for example, some, they do yoga, they run, they run marathons, they do that. Some, they spend more time with their family. Uban, they're active in their church activity. So, all these things. I think, importante siya that we talk to each other. Like, each of us, we have our own, like, small groups, no, that we can talk to, our peers and colleagues that we're comfortable with. So, that's where we unpack and vent out our mga challenges in the workplace or even in life in general. So, I think it's important na we have that mga support system. Kay lisod, mahal magpa-counseling, mahal magpa-psychia, mahal magbuka. So, I mean, even among us, we have to keep our heads above the water, because really, we can't help, people if we are also ones who are needing help. Diba? You can't pour from an empty cup. So, we have to keep ourselves also sane, diba? For us to be able to help the entire community or the people that we service, no? So, I think that iyang paningkamot para okay ra gyapon ang mental health space.
Yes, thank you for that, Ma'am Shal. Ma'am Tin, who takes care of you?
I agree with that, teacher. So as much as we also encourage our students na they need to have someone that they could talk to, it's the same thing for us. I think it's very important also na we process with each other our feelings, our emotions also with what we go through, because it's really different when you are kanang makuan ka sa stress, makuan ka sa mga buluhaton. So sometimes you forget about it, but I think it's very important na there's really a support group who will be there to help you. Ako personally, I have a lot of support group in the community, in the church, and here in school. So I'm able to talk to them na really how I felt during that day, and also kanang different self-care treatments perhaps. So I go for a massage, or kanang I go to the gym. So that's something na really helps me a lot nga to recover for the next one. So kana lang gid siya. It's something you would always have to remember nga self-care is very important also, because you can never give what you do not have. So you need to have it also yourself so that you can help others.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Tin, Ma'am Shal, for this this breather, no? It's refreshed our mind, and I hope that our viewers also have learned a lot of things from this conversation. And please let me remind you that when everything else fails, cast your burdens to the Lord, because He will give you rest. This has been Ronelyn Faith Vailoces, and to God be the glory. Hello there, Sillimanians. Thank you very much for watching #Silliman. Kindly follow our Facebook page, that is #Silliman. And to be more updated, kindly click the notification bell for our YouTube account, that is also #Silliman. And don't forget to click like, follow, and share. And of course, you can watch us also at Phil Products Channel 6 every Monday at 8 p.m. And replays will be shown every Tuesday before the noontime news and every Saturday after the noontime news. This has been Ronelyn Faith Vailoces-No. See you next week, only here on
#Silliman.